Mother tongue interference in the acquisition of English as a second language is a really important concern for every individual who is trying to learn English as a second language other than their mother tongue. As we all are habituated in speaking in our mother tongue, when we try to learn English, we face some problems while doing it. That is because there are many difference in between our mother tongue and English as a language. So when we are trying to learn English as a second language, there are many difficulties which we get, and we can say we are offered because of speaking in our mother tongue. So in this video, we are going to show you how we can overcome those situations and learn English as a second language effectively so that we can communicate with each other in a better way. Mother language. We all know that how important is mother language for any individual. Mother language is a city to the building of which every human being brought a stone. When we grow up, we learn to speak our mother language, through which we communicate with each other during our early stages. But when we grow up, we need to learn some other languages rather than our mother language, because in a country like India, where there is a vast culture, there are different languages spoken in different regions of India. So it is not possible for a single individual to learn all those languages so that we can communicate with each other. So we have declared English as a second language to which we can communicate with each other effectively. If you talk to a human in language, he understands that, goes into his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes into his heart. So a mother tongue, a mother language for an individual is so important and is so close to his heart that a person intends to speak in his mother language when he is in his emotions or when he wants to express his sufferings or emotions to other persons. So we use mother language to express our feelings mostly. Since people from different regions have varying mother languages, that is why many institutions and parents teach a second language to children so that they can communicate with more people without any language barriers. A person might be able to converse in multiple languages, but if they are spoken to in their mother's language, then a sense of familiarity prevails over them. One's mother language is a very potent tool that helps in advancing the learning skill in people. Children develop the skill of communication by conversing with their parents in their native language when they are growing up. And this skill of communication becomes paramount in school or institutional level setting for participating in clubs. Learning in school plays an important role in accentuating the use of mother language. Similarly, when parents spend time communicating in the native language for discussing matters and telling stories to children, it helps in developing their terminology and concepts. Thus, children are able to follow instruction and can learn effortlessly, resulting in educational success. But as we are communicating with each other in our mother language, but in India, there are different regions speaking different languages and they're habituated in speaking those languages. So, if we want to communicate with each other through our common language, it will be very helpful for us. So, we need to learn a second language. And for India, we have declared it as English so that we can communicate with each other very effectively. Second language acquisition. Grayson. Grayson is an English philosopher. Grayson maintains that there are three operational internal processes when learners acquires second language. These are the monitor, filter, and organization. Now we will discuss what is monitor, filter, and organizer. The monitor is responsible for conscious learning and has nothing to do with acquisition. Brown claims that filter are responsible for extent in which the learner's acquisition of the second language is influenced by the social circumstances such as motivation and affective factors like anger and anxiety. Organizer determines the organization of the learner's language. It organizes the uses of incorrect grammatical instruction, and provisional precursors, grammatical structures, the systematical occurrence of errors in the learned item. There, there are different processes of second language acquisition. Now we will discuss some of them. Number one, the silent receptive one. This stage may last from several hours to several months, depending on the individual learner. During this time, new language learners typically spend time learning vocabulary and practice pronouncing new words. While they may engage in self talk, they don't normally speak the language with any fluency or real understanding. So, in this phase, the people try to learn the second language, but they are not quite familiar with that language and they try to avoid to speak in that language. The next phase is the early production. This stage may last up to 6 months, during which language learners typically acquire an understanding of up to 1000 words in the second language. They may also learn to speak some words and begin forming short phrases, even they don't may not be grammatically correct or may not sound appropriate, but they try to form sentences and phrases to communicate with each other. The next phase is the speech emergence. By this stage, learners typically acquire a vocabulary of up to 3000 words and learn to communicate by putting the words in short phrases, sentences, and questions. Again, they may not be grammatically correct, but this is an important stage during which learners gain greater comprehension and begin reading and writing in their second language. Now we'll discuss the next stage, which comes in learning second language, which is the intermediate fluency. At this stage, which may last for a year or more about after the speech emergence, learners typically have a vocabulary of as many as 6,000 words. They usually acquire the ability to communicate in writing and speaking using more complex sentences. This crucial stage is also when learners begin actually thinking in their second language, which helps them gain more proficiency in speaking of it. At first, when a person is trying to learn a second language, they first prepare the sentence in their mind and then speak it. That's why their fluency is influenced. But with proper practice and time, the person or the individual can speak and think in the language at the same time. Number five, we will discuss the last phase of learning our second language, which is continued language development, or we can say advanced fluency. It takes most learner at least 2 years to reach this stage, and then up to 10 years to achieve full mastery of second language in all its complexities and nuances. Second language learners need ongoing opportunities to engage in discussions and express themselves in their new language in order to maintain fluency in it. As we are living in a society where English has become such an important language that everyone must know this language. It has become a stereotype in our society that everyone must know English, as this is the only language to communicate, or like a stereotype that who doesn't know English is not literate, and some stuffs like that. But we should always know that our mother tongue is very important for us. We need to speak in our mother tongue, but as we need to effectively communicate with each other to make them understand our feelings, our words, our phrases, our emotions, our sufferings, everything, we need them to understand us as well. So we can, as they are not well aware or they are not learned of our mother tongue, we need to find a second language, which is for us is English, so that we can make the other person or the speaker understand what we are trying to convey to them. So, a second language acquisition other than your mother tongue is very important for every individual. Now, we will discuss how mother tongue is interfering on English language. When we are trying to learn English as a second language, what difficulties are we facing because of being habituated in speaking in our mother tongue. Linguistic interference obtains at the phonological, grammatical, and semantic levels. When a learner is confronted with a new language, he usually faces problems arising from the distance between the linguistic system. Now, as we know, there is article system in every language, and there is alphabetical system in every language. So, if, for example, for an instance, we take Hindi as a language and English as a other language, the article composition in Hindi and the article composition in English is totally different. The alphabets are totally different. The pronunciations are totally different. So, when we are trying to learn English as a second language, we are habituated with our mother language. So it is interfering our process of learning English. So we need to overcome those situations so that we can effectively learn English and can have a mastery in it with practice. Two type of interference can be distinguished. Number one, the first type is the proactive interference. This is an interference phenomenon that helps in the acquisition of the target or subordinate language. The other type of interference is the retroactive type. The type retards the process of acquisition of the target language. When we are trying to learn English, but we are still habituated and we are still thinking in our mind of the sentence in our mother language, and then we are translating it into English and then speaking it, it is really hampering our fluency and our learning process in learning the other language. So, for effectively learning a second language, we must think and speak in the same language at the same time, which also increases our fluency. Importance of mother tongue. Importance of mother tongue in pronunciation. Mother tongue is very important to pronounce any words. It is impossible to master a second language, for an instance, English, without mastering your first language, your mother tongue, maybe Tamil, Telugu, etc. Or for in India commonly, Hindi. We need to have a mastery in our own language first. We need to know how to express ourselves, how to understand things in our mother tongue first. Then only we can have a mastery in learning the other language. If we are not habituated with our mother tongue and if we are not habituated with what is our mother tongue, we cannot have and excel in other language. So a mother tongue is so knowing the basics and learning the mother tongue of any individual is a very crucial and important step in any individual's learning process. Import- Importance of mother tongue. Learning to speak in mother tongue is very important for a child's overall development. Being fluent in the mother tongue, which is also known as the native language, benefits the child in many ways. It connects him to his culture, ensures better cognitive development, and aids in the learning of other languages. Without having a proper knowledge of an individual's mother tongue, there will be a lot of difficulties which the individual will face when he is trying to learn a different language rather than his mother tongue. Application and future scope. From all this data, we can conclude that people have different opinions. Application and future scope. From all this data, we can conclude that people have different opinions when asked about their mother languages. Most of them love their mother languages, some of them doesn't, some of them doesn't want to accept that they love their mother language, some of them doesn't want to communicate in their mother language as they think like if they speak in their mother language, they will be called illiterate or they will sound illiterate that they do. So they prefer speaking in English. Some of them fear that their mother language is not being respected to the extent it should be, and it is important to conserve mother languages. Some steps can be taken to preserve our mother languages, teaching and learning in mother languages using digital and social media outlets in mother language and insisting on speaking our mother language. This data can be utilized to know about the opinion of people on mother language in a country and take certain steps to preserve it. Conclusion. I observe that it is too late that we take certain fruitful steps to protect our own mother languages. For that, we have to protect our own mother languages from now. From that, we have to take certain steps like the suggestions in the NEP 2020 compulsory primary education in one's mother language, providing even complex science and technological texts in one's own language. People should not be inferior to converse in their mother languages. Our mother language is our, but as we need to effectively communicate with other people with different mother languages, we need to have a common language which we both can understand and really like understand each other's thing, what the other person is trying to convey to us. So learning a second language for us, it might be English, so that we can effectively communicate with each other is a very important thing. So acquisition of second language other than your mother tongue is very important for any individual's development. Thank you.